Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Monday edition of the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores with 9 locations throughout Central Alabama. J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, no job too big or too small. Call on J.A. Smith Construction and Sensa Green for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensa Green. Glad to have all 3 of them as our corporate partners here on the program. Jim, good to see you here on this Monday. Finally got a little cool weather. It took January to get here. We had a little spurt maybe here and there back in December, but some true cold weather moving in here for the next week or so. And but I tell you what's not cold is Auburn's basketball team. So we're going to talk about that as they get their first conference victory over Missouri, 84-68. We'll talk about how the rest of the conference played out. Auburn also going to work in the portal again for football, picking up another defensive tackle, and it looks like maybe today picking up another. And then there's a possibility, had another visitor in this weekend from Alabama, and Jeremiah Alexander, who had a great visit. He was the #1 recruit in the state of Alabama in the 22 class. Went to Alabama, really hasn't done very much there. So he's going to shop his talents around, and I know it's between Auburn, Ole Miss, Clemson, maybe Oklahoma's in the mix, but had a very, very good visit this weekend. And, you know, Jim, I'll start there and then we'll go into basketball. Well, this pipeline Auburn's got from Thompson High School right now, I mean, he was hosted by, Caleb Harris. He was hosted by Anquan Fagans. And, you know, of course, I mean, they went to school up there. And then, of course, he's going to visit Clemson where Peter Woods is. But nobody's got a pipeline coming from Thompson more than Auburn does right now.
Well, that's always great to have connections when you're out there trying to add players because they've already got that chemistry together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I said it on the podcast this morning. We went from a desert, dry as dust, to an oasis of people flowing down 280 from Thompson High School. So that's a good thing. Glad to see that he was on campus. Again, you know, when you look back at 2022, Jim, he was the number 18 player in the nation, #1 player in the state of Alabama. So there's some talent there. He's 6'2", 250 pounds. He was the #1 edge rusher in the country back then. So, you know, we don't know why things – I mean, this is not a shot. I'm not doing this as a shot at Alabama because Auburn obviously had Bo Nix that left and went and almost won a Heisman at Oregon. You know, sometimes players need a change of venue. They need to go reinvent themselves somewhere else.
Well, in his case, too, I think he's been tried to be pushed different positions. Alabama put him in at linebacker for a little while.
Right.
We may be trying to give him a chance at linebacker, or they look at him at linebacker and say, okay, we need another edge piece. We'll put him out there on the edge. But that's usually what happens in a player like that of his quality. Alabama's a good team. They got a lot of talent there. Maybe the edge was already loaded, so they pushed him in at linebacker, and that may not be his true fit.
That's true. That's true. So, again, could be a lot of different things. I'll take my chances. You know, if you look at Jackson Arnold, same deal. I mean, they pushed Dylan Gabriel out at Oklahoma to go to Oregon because they thought Jackson Arnold's a guy. Mm-hmm. And Dylan Gabriel wasn't hanging around, and Dylan Gabriel went up to Oregon, had them #1 all year. Now, I know they didn't perform well in the playoff, but neither here nor there. Just because you didn't get it done one place doesn't mean that you're dead in the water and you forgot how to play the sport. So I'll take my chances with a bunch of 5-star plus guys like Jackson Arnold and Jeremiah Alexander if he chooses to switch over and come to Auburn.
Well, that's what you want, as in a coaching mindset. You want the kids with talent, and you can't coach speed. So if he's got that, he's got it in spades. And you have a good coach that puts it all together. You know, all the time you talk about developing players.
Absolutely.
This is what you're after. I mean, just because he hadn't had the reps at Alabama don't mean he ain't talented. Don't mean he ain't got a skill set.
Right.
We got to get him in there and say, Dirk, and put him somewhere.
Right.
Put his full abilities on the field.
That's it. And, you know, we knew going in the tail end of this portal deal, Auburn needed a couple more defensive linemen. They needed some guys. So we get the kid from Sam Houston State, We'll talk more about that here in just a minute. I kind of jumped all over the place, but have a potential to get Jeremiah Alexander and then Jeffrey Mbaugh, who was a defensive lineman, #1 JUCO player in the country when he came to Auburn. He went to Purdue last year. Now it looks like he's going to come back to Auburn. So it is what it is. Maybe you go off, find yourself, reinvent yourself. You love a place, you come back. We'll talk about all that a little bit more in detail. Auburn 84, Missouri 68. Any win in the SEC is a good win. You'll take them. You better win them at home. We know that. But I'll say this, Jim, and I said it on the podcast this morning, when you win this convincingly and you didn't really play your best game. I mean, Auburn, I don't think it wasn't because they didn't take them serious, but Auburn jumped out like they normally do on teams. And, I thought Bruce Pearl had an opportunity to work some guys in and continue to build depth on this team. And you didn't have your starting 5 playing 30-plus minutes. I mean, most of them got, in the mid-20 range as far as minutes. Mm-hmm. Trying to work some of these other guys in because depth's going to be a key coming down the stretch, especially in tournament time. But season high in turnovers for Auburn with 16. Missouri had 16 as well, but that was uncharacteristic of Auburn to turn the ball over that many times. Not a very good job on the offensive glass either as far as rebounds were concerned. Got beat on the offensive boards 13-6. So got to fix that. And Bruce Pearl brought that up, Jim. He said 8 of the top out of the top 35 offensive rebounding teams in the country, 8 of them are in the SEC.
Yes.
You can't be getting beat on the offensive glass night in and night out. So overall, great win. Didn't play your best. Got a lot to work on. That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and my takeaway from just watching the ball game, it seemed to be that as the game went on and it seemed like we were in hand, we did a lot of individual play. Like we wanted to go one-on-one and shoot the ball and look cool, or I can post Brett up and beat him. I don't know if that's something Bruce just turns them loose and says, okay.
I don't think so.
I don't either.
No, I don't think
they're
so.
freelancing a little bit. That's what I think.
Right. Well, the Tahad Pettiford, again, he's a young kid. I think he's the most talented guard maybe we've ever had. And, he learned in this game that when teams are going to come up and they're going to guard you, and they're going to get in your grill, and you got to do the things that the defense is forcing you to do sometimes, and that's get rid of the ball. You as a point guard have to distribute the ball. The ball will end up coming back through you, but it's like you said, you can't just say, everybody clear out, I'm about to take this guy one-on-one and dribble the air out of the basketball. And I think he kind of got caught up in that, and he's got to learn that every SEC school is going to do this. When you're a very young, talented guy, they're going to get in your grill and they're going to force you to do some things maybe that you don't want to do. And as a basketball player matures, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to dish the ball and I'm going to get it to my shooters. I know the ball will work back through me, and that's what you got to do. And I think, again, you learn from those mistakes. And Janai Broome, though, again, Jim, there's nothing flashy, but you look down and it's 24 points. That's why he's so good. Mm-hmm. He is the leading National Player of the Year candidate. It's because he only played 28 minutes and had 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 block shots. So the game is very easy for him. Could he play more minutes? Absolutely he could. Does he need to play more minutes? No. I mean, if you got guys that can come in and spill him and you're winning by 20 and you feel comfortable, again, like you and I talked about, the longer you play, this is a grueling season. And the more you can give him a chance to kind of rest a little bit, the better he's going to be coming down the stretch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in your premier athletes like that, I think I saw some statistics the other day. The kid that was the player of the year last year, played for Purdue. His name is.
No, you talking about Zach Edey?
Zach Edey.
Yeah.
They said that this time last year, and per possession, Broome and him are equal. In some cases, Broome is better. But the big note is Purdue had to play him more minutes.
Absolutely,
and he played in the 30-plus minutes all year long.
Well, Zach Edey was Purdue.
Right.
I mean, they had good guard play, but, we played the Purdue team this year without Zach Edey.
Right.
It was a notable difference.
Sure.
Zach Edey had to be on the floor for them to be successful. And, I'm not saying Janai Broome doesn't have to be on the floor, but he doesn't have to be on the floor. I mean, and again, we're a different team without him, but he doesn't require, like you said, as many minutes as a Zach Edey, where you don't have as much to pull from like a Purdue. It's still a great team. They went to the national championship game last year. But the only reason they did is because of Zach Edey.
Sure.
He was such a dominant force and obviously deserved
He's
Player of the
definitely,
Year.
when you look at an MVP, a Player of the Year, whatever a superlative award you want to give somebody, if you pull him off that team, he is the most valuable player on that team.
No question.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Janiyah, you would believe that Auburn could win 50, 60% of their games without him, but he changes the table completely.
He's a dominant player.
Yeah.
And he's when you have a player as good as Zach Edey or Janiyah Broome, there's nobody you're going to play that's going to have anybody better than him.
You're right.
And so he does change the way teams defend. And, again, this is a very talented team, like you said, that may even be able to win more than 60% of their games without him. But I don't want to find out. We're glad we got him. And, again, play him as much as you need to. But you get a guy in there like Chaney Johnson with 31 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to play Chad Baker-Mazar, but 25. Denver Jones played 28 minutes. I mean, if Auburn gets in a situation, Jim, where we know we've got to win a game and it's close to the end, you're not going to see some of these guys get the minutes that they got. You're going to see Denver Jones's minutes up. You're going to see Chad Baker-Mazar more. You're going to see Janiyah Broome more. That's just the game's going to dictate who's in and who's not.
Well, I think it more so the part of the game is going to dictate that. I think the other team, if they come out and play a man, we've got guys that we play man real well. If they want to play a zone, I think Bruce has got different guys he rotates for that. I think he plays the game as the other team tells him how to play it.
That's right. That's right. That's what good coaches do. You take I guess in football, you take what the defense gives you. A lot of times it's the same thing. You match up according to how they're defending.
Sure.
All right, just getting started here on the Auburn Blitz. We got a lot more to come when we come back.
Are you looking for a great deal on a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC full-size truck? Check them out. Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierras side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama. Take your choice of brand new 2024 Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off, or 0% financing plus no payments till springtime. Here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz here. 45 minutes left in the show today as Jim throws his phone down feverishly because he's mad over here. No, he's not. He dropped his phone, but it's okay. And that's why you put these covers on there, right, to try to prevent them from breaking. We'll take your calls, 256-234-6221, your comments, obviously, on YouTube and Facebook. We are 4 now, subscribers away from 500. And like I said on the podcast this morning, we're going to give away Auburn Blitz gear at 500. So as soon as we get there, and again, we've only been doing the podcast side and the YouTube side really for only about 2 months, Jim.
Right.
So we're almost to 500, so it's been great. And so milestone number 1 for us. Hopefully we'll turn around at the end of the year and we'll look at 10,000 subscribers. That's what our goal is. But please go out there and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. You get the alert every time we're on the air, whether it be the show here or the podcast or the Saturday morning show, whatever it is, when we're on there, you'll get that alert. Scores from around the conference, and we'll come back and talk about Auburn's game. Now Auburn's got to turn around very quickly tomorrow and play Texas on the road at 8 o'clock. So we'll talk more about that here in just a second. Arkansas to travel to Tennessee. Hey, look, Tennessee really played well Saturday. I thought that look, they're deserving of number 1 right now. I'm kind of glad we're number 2. All the pressure's on them. They've got to turn around and play Florida tomorrow night. So they've got their hands full, and they definitely going to be able to prove whether they should stay at that number 1 spot. Oklahoma at Alabama. Oklahoma was undefeated. No problem for Alabama here, 107-79. You know, that was kind of what Alabama was doing last year, Jim, is they were scoring in the hundreds. And offense was their deal, and when they learned to play defense, that's when they made that run to the Final Four.
Sure.
They started off defensively pretty well this year. Now their offense is catching up, and you know, they're a tough team to handle. I mean, they're number 5 in the country for a reason, and they've got a deep team as well, and they've got 2 guys that came back, Grant Nelson and Mark Sears, that really are the straw that stirs the drink for Alabama. So we'll watch them and see as they progress. And, again, there's about 8 teams in this league that I think could win the league. So it tells you how tough. A&M being another one, 80-60 over Texas. I think Buzz does a phenomenal job at Texas A&M. I know a lot of people that have come up and talked to me about one day who the next coach at Auburn might be. I hope Bruce is there for 40 more years.
Right.
But Buzz is a guy that I think a lot of people like and would like to see there. A couple more games, and I'll let you kick it over to the polls here. Mississippi State over South Carolina. Mississippi State looks really, really good. It's another team that I tell you people don't need to sleep on. They got a great coach and very athletic. Ole Miss over Georgia, 63-51. And this Vanderbilt team is very, very gritty. They won 80-72 over LSU, so they went on the road and won that game. So it's a big win there for Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. So we'll go over the schedule coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday, but I think you got the polls in front of you.
Oh, well, I didn't have the poll. I've actually had Texas's, because we were talking about Texas.
Oh, you looking at their schedule?
I was looking at their schedule and kind of breaking down in my mind the same way I did last Friday when we broke down Missouri for everybody to kind of show them, even though there was a superlative record out there, when you actually
every schedule's not created the same.
When you went back and looked at Missouri's schedule, they literally had played 4 teams with a heartbeat, and they were 2-2 out of those 4 teams.
Right.
And when we broke it down even further, it was showing that if our defense, being Auburn, traveled like it should, Missouri wasn't going to get 65 to 75 points was what they was about to get.
That's right.
And that's right what they got.
That's exactly what they got.
And Texas is the exact same way. I was just sitting here looking at it. If you look at anybody, they've lost to a number 25 UConn. They've lost to a number 13 Texas A&M. Anybody that they've played, Ohio State, they lost to them.
And look what we did to Ohio State.
Correct. That's you're about to get the same performance if, now these are all ifs, if we produce defense like we should, you're about to get the same thing there. Texas should have 60 to 70 points in this ball game if we play defense. No more than 70.
You know, I'll go back to the year, and I hate it, but and it was kind of a 3-year run there for Virginia. Man, their offense was terrible, but they shut people down so bad that they'd beat you 65 to 56.
Oh, sure.
You know, or even 56 to 49. I mean, they nobody could score. And the thing about talking about defense, even when you're not making shots, if you continue to play suffocating defense, you're going to be in every single game.
You're not. I mean, you follow basketball a long time, Randy, everybody else. You're not going to shoot the lights out every time you walk in that gym.
No.
But if you can go in there and play defense, even the nights that you don't perform, you're going to win because you can produce enough.
Well, a lot of times teams shoot the lights out, Jim, is because you're not playing good defense. You're not in the face of a shooter. Well, you're not fighting through screens. You're not doing your switches correctly.
That would go back in that Kentucky-Florida game we saw where it was like 106 to 100.
Right.
Somebody wasn't playing some defense.
That's right.
Because you ain't got enough minutes in the game to be scoring 100 unless people's letting you.
That's right. And, you know, if you're playing intense defense and players are hitting shots with your hand in their face, tip of the hat.
Sure.
But, you know, we all know that creating turnovers, pressure on the ball as soon as it comes across the midcourt line is huge, and that's what Auburn does, and they defend the glass really well. Now, again, one of the things you got to look at, offensive rebounds. You can't give a team 4 and 5 opportunities on the offensive side of the floor. You can't do that against good teams and expect to win. That's what Bruce was kind of stressing.
Yeah, the big men have to get in there and clean up. Like when you get a rebound, you got to take it. Offensive, defensive, all of it. It's got to be our rebound, not somebody else. Yeah.
I'm not, again, anybody can beat anybody. You heard Bruce say this. I'm not diminishing Texas.
Right.
But somebody's got to be at the bottom of the conference.
Sure.
Texas is one of those bottom teams right now.
Well, and that's literally, like I was telling you, the 3 games they've lost, every one of them's either been 80 or 79 points they've scored.
Right.
Everybody else they've played with not a heartbeat in Arkansas, Pine Bluff, or Mississippi Valley. All those guys are scoring 90 and 100. But the level of competition is completely different.
That's exactly right. I mean, again, that's why you saw Bruce Pearl increase the schedule this year, and Auburn ran through it, but they played Iowa State and Houston and Duke, and I mean, it wasn't McNeese State and Arkansas Pine Bluff and those. Every schedule's different.
Texas is very about to get a welcome to the SEC. They just lost to number 13. They're about to play number 2, number 1, number 12, and number 6 back to back to back to back.
Probably won't win any of them.
Possible. Welcome. Hook 'em.
Welcome to the SEC. That's all I can tell you. As their football team carries the banner right now for the SEC.
Right.
All right, up against our next break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sensi Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensigreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit Sensigreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
The results are in, and Game Day Men's Health in Auburn has delivered. The certified medical team at Game Day Men's Health wants to help you feel better. Text 334-209-3706 to set up your free testosterone check and consult. Results back in as little as 15 minutes. Tired of feeling tired? Text 334-209-3706 to Game Day Men's Health in Auburn. They make you feel better.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering, or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Halfway through our program, again, want to thank Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine down on East Glen in Auburn and Pepper Tree in Montgomery. Some of the best steaks, ribs, chicken, tuna steaks, pork chops, whatever. I can just keep going down the line. If you like the 44-ounce tomahawk steaks, which are just phenomenal, that you can split with like 3 or 4 people.
I think they say like a whole family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've got them. And the tiger tails, if you've not tried those, basically it's a chicken breast wrapped in bacon stuffed with jalapeno cheese. I don't know how you get. I mean, is there anything wrong with any of that I just said? Go check out Peppertree Steaks and Wine, either location. Tell them the Auburn Blitz sent you. Great selection of wines anywhere. They'll rival anybody's selection. So make sure you go and check them out. We can't thank Kathy and her staff enough for all that they do with our program here. We'll get back to the schedule here. A buddy of mine sent this graph over, and I actually had a few notes on this, but I'm glad he sent it. Right now, Jim, there's only 3 teams in the country with 13-plus wins that have a top 20 defense and a top 20 offense. Tennessee, Auburn, and Marquette. Now, Duke, Gonzaga, Illinois, Houston, and Iowa State both all have a top 20 offense and a top 20 defense, but they don't have 13-plus wins. Now, again, like you said, all schedules aren't created the same. Duke's played a much harder schedule and has 12 wins than Tennessee has with 13 wins.
With 14.
With 14. So, same with Houston, same with Iowa State. To me, Iowa State is one of the top 3 teams in the country. The only difference between Iowa State and Auburn is that we beat them head-to-head. They had a 17-point lead in the Maui Invitational. We came back and won the game. They're going to go down as one of our best wins of the season. No matter of who we play and beat anywhere else, whether that be Tennessee in a few weeks or if we go to Coleman Coliseum and beat Alabama, that Iowa State win is going to be maybe the best win on the entire schedule.
Well, and that, to me, that's what you want in the metrics is if you beat somebody, whoever you beat, you want them to go and ball the rest of the season and beat everybody. You want Iowa State to be a top-ranked team.
Absolutely. You got 2 teams in the SEC that have a top 20 offense with 13-plus wins, but they don't have a top 20 defense, and that's Florida and Mississippi State. So I love the chart. The chart kind of is 3 circles, and it groups all the teams up, and it kind of shows you where. And right now, the cream of the crop is right here in the middle. I mean,
and that's what you should see based off of numbers as we get into this SEC season. Like y'all had alluded to before, the cream should rise.
Absolutely,
it should be obvious.
Well, we saw a little separation after Saturday. You know, because like you said, everybody was bragging on the SEC, and everybody had at least 10 wins, and you find out when they match up against each other. Maybe South Carolina not as good as everybody was saying. Maybe Texas, a little smoke and mirrors. Oklahoma 13-0, talking about a schedule. Go back and look at who they played. Didn't really play a lot of good teams. So it's different than what you've seen Alabama and Auburn do. You know, they both played some really, really good teams, and they've navigated those schedules for the most part, and it should make a difference. You know, and again, I know that was one of the biggest arguments in college football this year about Indiana getting in and maybe some of these other teams, and I hear that argument loud and clear. I definitely do, because if Indiana were to have played some of the schedules that we have to play, they probably wouldn't have been undefeated. They would have had more than one loss to Ohio State. So
and there's a point of, what do they call that in business, a point of diminishing return. You want to go play these quality teams, but you also don't want to go play teams, get your doors blowed off, and have your players unconfident in themselves to play basketball.
Absolutely.
You're trying. Nate Oates has played this game. Bruce Pearl's played this game. They're getting their team ready for March. Yes, they want to win right now, but they know where the ultimate goal is. And it's like you talked about minutes. If I'm going to put minutes together, I want my team spread out. I don't want Broome playing 30 minutes a game. If he can play 20, let him play 20.
That's right.
We're going to save him as much as we can, because when I get him to March, I want a full
Well, and you know there's going to be games like Tennessee, like Alabama, and you know some of those type games where you're going to have to play him more. He's going to have to be on the floor more. So when you can still rest minutes, and again, I said that on the podcast this morning, I felt like that's what Bruce Pearl did. Auburn got up. We went out there. We got some guys in that needed to learn some lessons, how to play in the SEC. And you never felt like you were in danger zone of losing that game. So, if it would have gotten tighter, Bruce would have put Denver Jones back in. He'd have put Janai Broome back in. He would have put Chad Baker-Mazara back in and would have been fine. Most teams can't afford to do that. That's why you also don't want to sit those other 5 or 6 guys over there on the bench and let them rot away. You want them to get as much experience as you possibly can.
Well, and that's the, me breaking down schedules on Friday and today too as well, talking about it. Like Auburn's next opponent after Texas, South Carolina. You're literally staring at a schedule. They played number 16 Indiana and lost. Right. Number 22 Xavier, they played them and lost.
South Carolina's not a very good team.
Yeah, their games are similar to Texas. They played a lot of teams.
Well, they just got beat by 25,
yes,
35. They got beat by 35 by Mississippi State.
Correct. So there's a lot of, and it's your terminology, a lot of smoke and mirrors going on there that you look at a South Carolina with 12 wins and you go, gosh, they're good, but you really see it, it's not there.
Against quality opponents, they haven't fared as well.
Sure. And now, here's my question, and you can probably answer it as well as anybody. If you're South Carolina, did you learn anything by playing a bunch of mirrors?
You didn't. No. And again, I think
I would rather come out of this schedule at 6-6 and have played some quality guys, because if I get in on the back end of March, I'm ready.
Absolutely. Beating Norfolk State ain't going to get you there. That's not going to get you there. No. And I think Auburn learned that lesson last year.
Sure.
I mean, they went out and –
I know these coaches want to beat their chest at the end of the year and go, look, we got 22 wins. Well, and you didn't get in the tournament.
and there'll be some complaining. But when you look at schedule, they don't match up. Right. So, all right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area. Go ahead and mark your calendars, sports fans. The Alabama State Games are returning to the Magic City of Birmingham, Jefferson County, and surrounding communities June 13th through the 15th, 2025. We're talking about 20-plus sports open to athletes of all ages and abilities. The 42nd Alabama State games will be something to behold. Mark your calendars now and be ready to go when registration opens. Visit allagames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more exciting announcements.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Couple segments left in the show today. Get your phone calls in if you'd like to, and comments there on YouTube and Facebook if you like. It's a silent Monday, Jim. Wasn't silent on the podcast this morning, but it's a silent Monday. A lot of people watching, but just not much to say because when you're winning, there ain't a lot to say. You want to move on, keep doing it. All right, the schedule coming up tomorrow, Tennessee at Florida at 6 on ESPN2. That's going to be a good basketball game. That's two of the top teams in the country. That's number 1 versus number 6. Kentucky at Georgia. Auburn at Texas, obviously at 8 o'clock at ESPN2. Mississippi State at Vanderbilt. Watch that game. Vanderbilt pretty good. Big win for them on the road. Mississippi State, 35-point win over South Carolina. That should be a fun game to watch, and then LSU will travel to Missouri. On Wednesday, it will be Alabama at South Carolina. I think Alabama will handle business pretty easily there. Ole Miss will travel to Arkansas, and Texas A&M will go to Oklahoma. So Tuesday's line up pretty good.
Pretty good basketball.
Yeah, Tennessee and Florida, Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, Auburn and Texas all will be in action there. All right, let's shift down and talk about some football. We started the show with it. In the portal, Auburn said they needed to add a couple more defensive linemen. They would feel better if they could get some more guys there. Well, they get Chris Murray from Texas, from Sam Houston State. He was at TCU prior to that. 6'4", 255 pounds. Played in 13 games, was all-conference player, 52 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 13 tackles for loss. Murray chose Auburn over Florida State and had a lot of other offers. Got him for his pass rushing ability, Jim. I think he built some relationships with some of the coaches, but very, very productive player for Sam Houston State this past year in Conference USA. Will be bringing his talents to Auburn this spring.
Obviously the first piece you got to look at, does that equate to the SEC?
Right.
He's made some good plays. He's got quality size. 6'4", 255 is a nice kid. You can't go out to Walmart and buy you one of those.
No.
If they get him in the weight program, get him a little food.
Let me know if you can.
He'd build up.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then the second aspect is we really don't think you're bringing him in as to be your starter on the edge.
No. You're
He's
just
gonna
trying to
be
add
a
depth to that
second
line.
to a third piece.
Correct.
Because you got a lot of freshmen that are about to come in that could work in there. So he's really another body you've added to it.
Yeah.
Not that it's terrible. He's a great.
He's productive.
He's
and
productive.
look, we've seen guys come from smaller schools and they work their way up. It will be an adjustment period for them.
Sure.
No doubt. You can tell people about the speed of this conference.
Yeah.
But until they get out there and they experience it, they don't really understand it.
No.
All right, so, again, I talked about Jeffrey Mba as well. A lot of you are going, wait a minute. Wasn't he at Auburn? He was. Another kid that went off to Purdue. Now he's more than likely coming back to Auburn. I know he's looking at some other schools as well. But, again, Jim, we're in a mode. You're not going out there in the portal right now getting guys that you think probably are going to be reliable starters. You're trying to add depth and pieces to positions, and that's what they're doing here. Another guy that was on campus this weekend, we talked about it in the first segment, Jeremiah Alexander was the number 1 player in the state in the 2022 class. I think he was the number 18 overall player in the country, according to 24/7. I know he was the number 1 edge rusher. He's 6'2", about 250 pounds now. He's really, not a lot of playing time for Alabama. And again, I don't think he forgot how to play the sport, Jim.
No.
It's a situation of different coaches, different styles, maybe where they were wanting to play him versus where he was playing. Or where he wanted to play. Look at Eugene Asante.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, he came from North Carolina. Brian Harsin he literally didn't play a down. The next year, he was Auburn's leading tackler.
Right.
I mean, it's all about what a coach sees versus what another coach sees, and maybe where you think he should be playing versus where he is playing.
And that's what we said in the early segment is Alabama had him trying to make him a linebacker. That may be all they had available for him, and that's where they showed him in the depth chart.
That's right.
And right when he gets here, he goes, okay, look, I want to compete for the end job.
DJ Durkin has, he's done a really, really good job getting this Auburn defense into the top 15, obviously. With the help of the entire defensive staff going out and recruiting some of these top-notch players. You're going to look at Jeremiah Alexander visiting Clemson, visiting Ole Miss, visiting Oklahoma. But I think Auburn's got just as good a shot as anybody.
Speaking of portal, let me throw 2 at you that are off the presses in the last couple of days that are very interesting.
Okay.
Transfer portal going to the transfer portal. An early signee for Oregon's quarterback that committed a month ago and signed has already entered the transfer portal. You signed a month ago.
I know it.
What in the Sam hell?
This is kind of what everybody's talking about. I mean, really, what did you sign?
Right.
And what do you have to hold a player accountable?
Because if I signed, like we just signed a great class for Auburn.
Right.
If I'm from the state of Alabama and I just signed 9 out of the top 10 or 8 out of the top 10 in the state of Alabama, what makes all those kids stay?
I mean, again.
If they get a phone call from Oregon and says, hey, we'll give you a $100,000 Nike deal, they say, Coach, I'm out of here.
Well, and again, it's more than just that one situation. It affects an entire class.
Sure.
Maybe you went out and that was your guy at that position you needed.
Yeah.
And then now he decides to up and leave.
Yeah.
Now you're back to the now the early signing period is over. Now you got to try to get to this second signing period and maybe find somebody that isn't going to be up to that quality and that caliber.
That's where some rails have got to be done, because if I'm a coach and I work my butt off and got this kid to recruit, and a month later he went into the thing, then the other one to throw at you, Boise State, and you may have seen it, the offensive coordinator Cutter, he said our best players are getting taken every day because other teams can offer them 2 to 10 times what we can.
It's no different than Jim Moore complaining at UConn and trying to expose teams and coaches. He said, look, we're going to call you out. What? So what?
Yeah.
Look, I hate to tell you, look, every school in the conference of SEC or any big conference is vulnerable. You're definitely going to be vulnerable at a school that's not in the Power 5, that's not in the talk of being one of the top programs in the country. If you've got a good football player or a good basketball player, guess what? Expect not to have them next year. Maybe expect to not have them halfway through the year, because when the second portal window opens, they're probably going to hit it and they're going to leave. If they're a viable option for one of these bigger schools.
Or go out there and do some fundraising.
I mean, everybody can cry. Jim Moore can threaten all he wants to. I'm agreeing with it. I understand what he's saying, but Jim, there ain't a thing you can do about that.
No.
Not a daggum thing. And there ain't a thing Boise State can do about it either.
No.
Until there's an organization that steps up and holds people accountable, you're going to continue to get players stolen from you, period. That's just the way it is. All right, up against the final break of the show. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
For air that's cool and clean, call Senza Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Senza Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensagreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit Sensagreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Senza Green.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Go ahead and mark your calendars, sports fans. The Alabama State Games are returning to the Magic City of Birmingham, Jefferson County, and surrounding communities June 13th through the 15th, 2025. We're talking about 20-plus sports open to athletes of all ages and abilities. The 42nd Alabama State Games will be something to behold. Mark your calendars now and be ready to go when registration opens. Visit alagames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more exciting announcements. Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on the Auburn Blitz. Again, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensagreen. Just one more note, Jim. Tanner Burns, special teams coach the last couple of years at Auburn, has been moved to the Nichols position now. So he will take on as a defensive assistant in the secondary, along with Wesley McGriff and T.J. Rushing. So he's got a history of coaching on the defensive side with Hugh Freeze at Liberty. So we'll see how it works out. Look, I'm So
obviously that means we're fixing to get a new special teams coach?
I would think, unless they decide to – I wouldn't think they would put both of those duties on him.
No.
Look, here's the way I talked about it on the podcast this morning. I want to try to look at this glass half full. I think maybe this says a lot about Coach Freeze and his relationship with Tanner Burns and being a very good person and wanting to keep him in the program, because I'm going to be honest with you, our special teams were terrible this year. And normally you don't get moved around. Maybe you're getting moved because you don't want to get rid of somebody.
Right.
And the reason I say that is, and I know that you can't control what happened with Alex McPherson, and but from coverage team to punt team to just the whole deal was terrible. It's one of the worst years of special teams I think we've had, Jim, in forever. And
yeah, there's a lot of in special teams. I mean, I love that side of the football. There's a lot of it in the details that go into the way they cover lanes, the way they break down. I mean, there's a lot of small things that he should have covered greatly that we gave up some easy runs, some things that should have never happened.
It's field position.
Yeah,
dude.
too many men on the field. I mean, like you said, now you can't control if a kicker misses, but you can control if that snap, because me and you don't know, we didn't watch the film, if that snap's turned a little sideways, a little this, some of them kicks may not have been on that kicker, may have been on that holder.
Good bend.
And if that's the case, and it's on the coach because he didn't have him out there every day catching 1,000 balls, you don't mess those up.
And again, I don't know. I'm not there. You're not there. I'm not criticizing, but I mean, look, proof's in the results.
Sure.
And the special teams were not good. And
so it probably boils down, if we had to make an educated guess of what you said, production for special teams was not there.
So we got to get better.
We got to get better. So to keep a friend of ours that we've been from Liberty and everywhere else.
And I feel maybe other talents that he's got recruiting and stuff like that.
We found him another spot.
Right.
Because he didn't fit in. You've had guys.
I really think that's probably how
I went, yeah.
So, because if it was somebody that was expendable, you probably just go ahead and tell them to.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, like
you know what I mean.
DeBoer at Alabama just got rid of the co-defensive coordinator.
Right.
That was expendable. He said,
absolutely,
get out of here.
Well, and after Alabama kind of petered out at the end of the year, you knew that was coming. Somebody's head was going to roll.
Sure.
You got to show that, hey, we recognize we were deficient in this area. We got to go in there and change it. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams, there's 4 teams left playing college football. And Thursday night will be Notre Dame Penn State in the Orange Bowl. You say what you want to about Riley Leonard, only 90 yards pass against Georgia. They did what they needed to do in that game to beat a team that didn't have their starting quarterback. But Notre Dame's defense is really, really good. Mm-hmm. Penn State, let's be honest, maybe had the easiest path in the playoffs. Not their fault. They only played the teams in front of them. But they played SMU and they played Boise. So now they're playing Notre Dame. This is a classic. If you want to look at names, Jim, it's a classic college football matchup, Notre Dame and Penn State.
Sure.
I think this could be a toss-up. I don't see I see this being a very tight game. Notre Dame's a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and it all signs point to that. Both of them played quality defense. And like you said, Riley's not a person that's fixing to take over the ball game. He's not out there to be a threat to run for 100 yards and bite his leg. So I'm with you. I think you're looking at a game that's going to be 21 or less on both sides.
I think it's going to be a good football game. I really do.
Unless the subject you just brought up a second ago, unless there's some special teams mistakes.
Yeah, and that could come down. That could be the difference.
If that happens, just like what happened
in close games, that's
just like what happened in the Georgia game. When you get a kickoff run back for 96 yards or whatever it was, that momentum breaker.
Broke you back.
Yes.
And that was right out of the gate in the second half.
Yes.
Right after you gave up a cheap score before halftime. So it really kind of was a perfect storm. All right. Texas will host Ohio State, and I say that they're the home team. But it really will be like a home game. They're playing in the Cotton Bowl. So Ohio State travels down. But I think Ohio State's playing the best football anybody right now.
Yeah, they've caught their groove at the right time, and they all seem to be gelling together. The key to this one's going to be Texas' defensive line. If Texas' defensive line can get some trouble on I forget his name, Howard.
Will Howard.
If they can get onto him and cause him to get the ball out.
So far, nobody's been able to do that.
Yeah, that's going to be the key.
Destroyed Oregon.
Because if you're going to throw the Smith kid the ball, he's going to make plays. He's just a playmaker.
Well, he is a stud.
You can't give Will the time to look for him and get the ball out.
Ohio State's a 6-point favorite. We'll talk more about that this week as the week progresses. That game will be on Friday, by the way. On this day in 1976, Jim, Ted Turner bought the Atlanta Braves for $12 million. You think he'd take $12 million for them? Or you think they would take $12 million? It's not that he don't own it anymore, but you think the group that owns them would take $12 million for them?
I don't think you could pay the first baseman $12 million.
There's no question. I don't think the dugout guy could be paid $12 million. Nancy Kerrigan was attacked on this day in 1994. Remember that by Tanya Harding's bodyguard. And unfortunately, a vomit moment, like Andy said, on this day in 2014, Florida State beat Auburn 34-31 to win the national championship.
You know that's the new college thing out there, and they're calling it the scataboo, that you throw up and then go perform like an athlete.
Well, we threw up and we didn't get any results out of it. So lost 34-31. So that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Auburn Blitz. We'll be back with you tomorrow, same time, same place. For Jim, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We'll help you out. See you tomorrow.